Radio, its affiliates, or its parent company.
Hi. Oops. Hi, this is Lainey Risto. You better talk because I'm not. My voice is going.
Wow, Lainey Risto has a little voice problem going today.
Yeah.
She picked up a little something. I'm Wayne Hildebrand from Spiritus Reiki Center.
Oops.
That's Spiritus. Somebody told me I needed to spell that so we could make it work. So we're having some technical difficulty right now. It's called Lainey. It's
the headphone.
Okay. Anyway,
Right,
welcome to Soul Chat. We're at our new studios for the second week in a row. And what do you think, Lane? How you feeling? You all right? Gonna make it?
Depending on what.
Okay.
I spend most of the day at home, which was interesting because things happen at home when I'm not there that I didn't know, like the cat and the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think we've decided to call them Fluff and Scruff while the folks are going.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
really good. So thanks for doing that opening because I went
Yep.
to open my mouth. No, I got plenty over here, thanks. And I came out with 3 voices. That was interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention the
sponsor.
sponsors, though, in case you
Oh,
want
the
to mention
sponsors.
Matt.
Who are they? Oh,
something about
yeah.
Mr. Smith or something.
Yeah, Matt Kerner and David Valentine, owners of Mr. Smith, Ultimate Possibilities video production company for advertising and promo videos and that kind of thing.
You know, how cool to have them for sponsors.
No
I mean,
kidding.
last week our stars were moving behind us.
I know,
It was
that
cool.
was
We looked so
cool.
professional.
Like we know what we're doing, right?
Well, they do, thank gosh.
No, I know. And the other one is Spiritus Reiki Center.
Oh, yeah, they do it too.
Yeah, they do too. You can tell them about that.
Yeah, Spiritus Reiki Center at 4170 South Decatur, Suite D9. We're just one street past Flamingo off of Decatur. Tomorrow night we'll have our, every Thursday night I should say, because no one's telling when this will get on the up. We have the Reiki Circle from 6:30 to 8:30, and we'll just stop with that one, except for training on the 13th and 14th of Reiki 1 and Reiki 2. As notice, I'm looking at her to see if I'm getting away with it. If you're interested, give me a call, 702-810-3354. They told me to say it twice. I'm a professional. 702-810-3354.
That's because people, every time I hear something on the radio and I go, oh, I want that, I got the paper, but I don't have the pencil. Or I have the pencil, but I don't have the paper. So say it twice.
Yeah,
and
good.
Everybody
Hey,
can get it.
before we get started, I had a few suggestions for the show from people.
Really?
Yep. They say you talk all the time about your singing.
I do?
They asked you to sing. Somebody
Not
wants,
today.
Not today. But in one of the shows, they would like you to either bring a CD in with one of your songs,
Oh.
just partial songs or something on it so they can hear your voice. They don't get that much of it in the beginning of the play, so they kind of
Well, I
suggested
think...
that.
Oh, that's good. Oh, good.
Yeah, I thought that was very good.
You got more
They-
than
Not really. The rest of it was for me.
Oh, okay. Actually, the way we're setting it up when they get to watch it on video with the owl. Did you see the owl? That
Oh,
we
I
had?
love that owl.
They're going to put the theme song underneath it so you can at least hear the first line, so they get to
Oh,
hear
that's
some of
good.
that. But we're going to do some more. We're going to incorporate a lot more.
I told
than
him you'd
we
sing Crazy for him on the air because you
Oh,
love
boy.
that song so much.
did. And you're my friend, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
they just suggested so they get to know who you are. They also said something like, Lady talks about she has a room over there at Spiritus Reiki. She said maybe we could get a picture up with the room to see what her
Oh,
room
yeah.
looks like, because everybody wants to know what a shaman's room looks like.
Yeah, that would
Scarecrows.
be interesting. It looks really different from your room.
It does, but it's two different modalities going there.
That's right. That's right.
So
So, actually, what I do want to talk about is we did this on people that have watched the show before. We have a segment that we've always done called "What Did I Learn About Myself Last Week?" Are you sitting there going, "I don't know. You had so much. I watched you go through so much.
it just was incredible.
It was incredible." Yeah.
It's good.
And it's what I learned about myself this week, because the healing starts when you can go internal and go inside and discover the beliefs that you've put in place and the things that you've held to be the truth that maybe aren't the truth anymore.
Right.
And so when you learn about yourself, then some of that comes to the surface, and then you can make a choice. You can decide if you want to keep doing it or not.
I
So what I learned about myself is I can't push through things like I used to.
Yeah, and stay away from people with bad energy.
And bad energy, yeah, yeah. The days when I was in college, when I could stay up all night, have a few beers on the side, and then start studying at 7 for the final that was
Oh.
at noon, those are gone. Those are long gone. And I can't do. Beth is sitting over there going, "Oh yeah," and I can't seem to handle I can't do 4 hours sleep and then get up and run all day anymore.
I never could. So not
I
good
could
at
do that. But the biggest thing I think I learned is that I will push through anything. You've
Right.
watched me,
Right,
you
yeah.
know, and when I don't even have much left, I will push through it to get it done. And I looked at that, and that's kind of how I got this, whatever I ended up with, whatever this thing is. And I looked at that and I went, why did I do that? Why didn't I stop and say, wait a minute, I'm out of my own rhythm. I'm not going forward anymore. I still have that piece in place that doesn't want to let anybody down.
All right. Yep. That's why we're so much alike.
I
because
know, it's
we
scary,
both
isn't
do
it?
the same thing. It's like never say no.
Never say no.
Push right
and-
through, and then wonder why we're laying in bed sick.
And the other thing that's interesting is that we've noticed this, some of my other shamanic teacher friends, we've noticed this, that there's this life cycle of the year. Everybody's time when they need to be, is their downtime of the year is different. Mine tends to be, if I get sick, it's January or February. And
Oh.
here it is. You know, I broke my leg. I did it in January. And energetically, it's a time that it's called, okay, just pull the plugs, sit back, let's do a little reflection here. But I'll push right through it.
Right.
And then I end up with this.
Yeah.
You know, I might have solved this if I
But you
had.
have that deep voice thing going right now.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of
Hello.
sexy, isn't it?
Okay.
Right. So do you want to pick one?
Yeah, you know, mine falls back to that trust one again that we talk about so many times.
It's a big one.
I was having a conversation with a friend, and we were talking about some things that were going on in the spiritual world here in Vegas, and I mentioned something. She's like, "Oh, who is that? Who was that?" And I said, "Look, it's just between me and you because we're talking. I don't want
Oh,
you
yeah,
know."
I remember this one.
And it got out, and 2 days later, I'm getting a phone call from somebody saying there's a rumor started somewhere, and I'm not sure. I had to call the person and tell them I started it. It was me.
Well, it's
I
a
didn't mean to
possibility.
start the rumor.
Did you check it out? Did you really start it?
Well, it doesn't matter. I took the blame.
Well, of course you did.
It started with me, so
That's right.
I'm assuming that it was, and it's okay. But you just got to learn who. You know, you can't. We talk about our words. You were talking about the words last week, and words are so important. I didn't think nothing about it because it's two friends talking, and you know, it's between us. You know, I don't want to mention his name. Yeah, no, I get it. And then suddenly it's like, hey, rumors
It's
are
out
coming
there.
back around, and they're telling. And she probably told somebody the same thing. Hey, I'm just telling you as a friend, don't tell nobody. Hey, I'm just telling you as a friend, don't tell nobody. And pretty soon it's back to the original.
And the truth is, if you don't want something out, you don't tell anybody.
And that's the truth, the way it should be.
That's the way it should be.
You and I have discussed what we say between each other goes no further.
Right.
We
Right.
talk, and it's between us.
It is. Yeah.
Until I decide to tell somebody, hey, don't tell nobody.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Because I've
we-
done that. You've told me things, and I've said okay, and I've held on to them, and then all of a sudden somebody else come up and they'll say, "Guess what Wayne told me the other day?" Well, I guess that's out. you
Yeah.
know?
Well, yeah, but you kept it secret. I got to tell it first.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the point, you know. And then there's that other thing of looking at why do we tell people? Why are we talking to people? about
That was
certain
what I
things? That's the
researched.
intention.
That's what I had to go searching. Why do I say that anyway? Why didn't I just say, no, it's better not to say the name. Let's not
Right.
worry about who that. Why did I say it? Because I got the name? Because it had to be ego. It can only be the ego.
Somehow the power
Yeah.
of words is so
Yep.
interesting. It's like you and I had to talk about something the other day, and our other friend that works in the office. Remember, I said I don't want you to be responsible for this. This
Yes.
is something that needs to,
Right.
you know. And I'm not sure that
She
was
took it.
understood.
She took it very well. She
Good.
understood completely.
Because I really don't, you know, and that was something we needed to talk about and
Right.
decide that just needed to stay between us. But look at all the different ways you can look at how you talk. About
Yeah.
the intention. What's the intention on that? What is and that's really what it comes down to. It's not the word itself, it's
That's
the energy behind it.
That's what it came back to be. What was my intention by saying the name? So I had to look at myself. That's why I had to take the blame. That's why I had to step up and call and say, hey, I was the rumor.
Yeah.
You know, it was me.
And it takes a lot of courage to do that, too.
Yeah, well, not that courage. I had to go to the bathroom 3 times before I called.
Well, you know, whatever it takes to get there, you know.
So what about you?
Oh, well, other than, you know, understanding I can't push through things like I used to.
Okay.
You know, and I will always show up. You even said it when I was on the way here. You know, you said, I have one feeling you're one of those people that the light's going to come on and you'll be on 100%.
Yeah,
I'm not 100%.
Driving in
you
a
know?
car, she's telling me, we're talking on the phone, she's like, you're going to have to carry the show. I'm not going to be able to talk. I said, you're one of those, when you walk in, that light goes on, you go, hello, I'm Laney Russell. Only today you went, Laney Russell.
Yeah, but that's true. I mean, and notice I gave up.
You did. Knows you put deers in the headlight. Look at the way I went.
I know. They won't see it till they see the video, you know. Yeah, that's true. I think it's interesting. Oh, what is that? You
I
go
just
ahead,
thought
say it.
maybe if anybody wants to call in, anybody listening live, you want to call in, 702-483-4444. 702-483-4444.
Yeah, he learns, doesn't he? That was
Let's
good.
see. What are we going to give the first caller? We're going to give him something?
Yeah. He's going to get so excited when we get a first caller. Yeah, I think it's, for those of you that are first listening in and didn't get our show last week or have never heard us before, I'm a shamanic healer, shamanic practitioner. And I have an office at Spiritus Reiki Center, and I do private client work where I do healing rituals. It sounds ominous and whatever, but it's just another part of the alternative healing modalities.
Yes,
and
it
it's
is.
thousands of years old. It's actually ancient meditation. And I also am an advanced shamanic teacher, which means I can teach these rituals to people so that they can use them for themselves with certain, parameters around them. So, and Wayne here is...
I'm a Holy Fire Reiki master. I also have a few other things that happen along. I have a crystal healing bed that is just amazing. I get to move the energy around. This has 383 quartz crystals hanging out the bottom of this bed.
Now the
And
top is flat, so you're not
the top
laying
is
on
flat,
a bed,
so you're
bed
not.
of nails.
Yeah,
No.
this is no Tibetan trial thing here.
Oh, we can
And
make it that way.
the
We can
top
flip
is,
it over.
that's right. The top is angel light, but the beauty about this bed, and as I found out this morning in one of the healings, is it just comes about what you need.
Mm-hmm.
Today was cord cutting. Had to separate herself from a boyfriend and a childhood issue. And work, I have no clue where it comes from, but suddenly Spirit just says she needs cord cuts. And I said, okay, you have a childhood issue. And she's like, yeah. I
Yeah.
said, we're going to get rid of it today. So the bed does its own thing, takes its own energy. But yeah, we teach Reiki. We do all kinds of stuff.
In the
at
center,
Spiritus.
there's several things going on, so you can always check in on the website. We don't have a website. You have a Facebook page.
We have a Facebook. Soon to have a website. Soon as we
have a
get Matt
website.
busy. Or
Yeah.
April.
Yeah. So the Facebook page, they would look for Spiritus Reiki Center.
Spiritus Reiki Center.
And it's the one on Decatur.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes it comes up with the old one on Sunrise. No, we're over on Decatur.
And if anybody wants to look at what I do in depth a little more, it's at laineyristo.com right now. And it's LAINIRISTO.com. And everything I do there, the music's there. I'm putting it all under one umbrella. I got tired of taking care of so many things,
Yeah, she has a few things going over there.
Few things
Workshops
going on.
and healings and full moon ceremonies where she merges with Grandmother Moon. And wow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You're bringing in some guest teachers with you.
Yeah.
So we have some of her teachers from
from
her
all over the
teaching,
country.
yeah.
All over the country.
Canada, and they're coming in everywhere.
Yeah, so keep an eye on that, and we'll let you know as we go along here. We're going to take about a 2-minute break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about February 8th, what happened 2 days ago. So think about it. Look at what you were doing on February 8th.
monkey.
A monkey, a fire monkey.
The Chinese
Okay.
fire monkey.
See you in a couple minutes.
All right, bye.
Hi, I'm Lainey Risto, and I'm here with...
Wayne Hildebrand. Hey, you opened up pretty nicely that time.
Not bad.
Yeah,
I only had one voice instead of 3.
You're
That's
warming
not
up.
bad.
You're
Yeah,
warming
that's
up.
not
I was
bad.
ready this time, though.
We're going to talk about something that happened 2 days ago on February 8th. And so think about where you were. Wayne's going to hold up the picture. There it is.
Fire monkey.
The fire
You on the
monkey.
radio right now can't see that, but you will.
You will. Yeah. So February 8th was 2 things happened. It was the Chinese New Year, and this is the year of the fire monkey. And also it was a new moon, with the new moon being in Aquarius, and the sun was in Aquarius at the same time. And for those of you that are not astrology buffs or even don't really care, I'll tell you that when you have any of those big planets like that in the same sign, and especially the sun and the moon, which are really probably affect us, they can say it affects us physically probably more than any other planet.
Right.
Because we don't get enough light, we don't get enough heat. And the moon is really tied to water. It's really tied to anything fluid. So you notice that the full moons, there can be flooding on the full moons. And the ocean tides are...
I go to the bathroom a lot more on the
Do
full
you?
moon.
Okay, that went out to Iceland and 50,000 other people. So there we go. All right.
I wanted to share.
All right. So both of those two things coincided on the same day, which is, they called it an astronumeric rarity, is what they called it. Because 2016, if you break down the numbers, 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 6 adds up to 9. Yeah, you got 9 fingers, you can do it.
We're there.
Yeah. Yeah, so it adds up to 9, which 9 in numerology is a completion number. So this is a year of completion. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Where were you 8 years ago?
In trouble. Yeah.
Where are you now?
Yeah.
In trouble.
Yeah, I was in trouble. I was climbing out of trouble. I was climbing out of the bankruptcy, climbing out of the business failing, and working my way back up. So, but this is my year. I am the fire monkey.
Look at everything, and the year he was born is the fire monkey year. So
they say this is my year.
Yeah.
So.
And it's going to be that way for everybody if you've done the work. And one of the things that I read about it is that it's going to be a great year for you, but you might as well hang on, because if it's not, they're going to drag you into it, which means you might go through a whole bunch of unexpected events to get there.
Right.
You know? So I was thinking about it this morning. I did the math, and January of 8 years ago, what would that have been from 2016? It's 2008.
10 to 8, that's what I meant. Oh,
yeah.
That was a disaster year for me.
I had just come out of my third ankle surgery, leg surgery, where they said, if we don't do this, you're going to walk with a cane and you'll probably limp the rest of your life.
Oh, wow.
And so I had to make a decision, which I look at it now and I realize that it was the setup for me to make that decision over and over again. Am I going to do this or am I not? And just take a deep breath and go, right? And it was, at that time, it was an exploratory or an experimental surgery. And I thought the orthopedic guy told me, I thought that was I was like his third client. And he said, oh no, honey, you were my first. And I went, oh, every woman wants to hear that, right? And so, and so what it was is they literally took the pericardium of a horse's heart. They would add steroids to it and grow this material from it, okay? And then they would interweave it with my own ligaments, because ligaments don't repair. If they do, it's slow.
Still working on the horse's heart.
I know,
ahead.
you're choked up on that one, aren't you? They call it the Pegasus surgery.
Wow.
I was the first one in the valley to get it.
No wings.
No wings, but somebody said, well, how do you feel about that? And I said, I don't know. Every time I hear call to race, the call to race, I want to paw the ground, so what the heck, Bad joke. But that's what I went through, and I realized, looking back at that 8 years ago, right about now, I was setting myself up in a pattern, I look back at some of the other decisions I had to make over the last 8 years, and it was, wow, am I going to do this or am I going to stay where I am? And it kept pushing me. And now the decision to do what we're doing right now,
right.
The last big one I made, I handled it in about 4 days. Back then, I would agonize for 6 months.
Yeah.
So it just kind of pulled me through that. But that was a big change. I mean, I still ended up singing on the fair circuit for 5 years. But that slowly started dwindling down. Slowly,
amazing how that happens.
And amazing how it dwindled down. Yeah. So look back at 8 years ago. Where were you? Because this is the completion year for everything that started then. So
because it was the 8 years ago would have been when I first started losing the business.
Right.
In January, it was going okay. Mm-hmm. By December, it was gone.
Mm-hmm. December of 2008?
2009. Yeah, December 2008, it was gone. So this is a whole rebuilding.
And so where are you now? You still have a business. Look at where you are now.
Oh, yeah. No. Everything it's been beautiful. I mean, it's been a struggle, and I didn't understand it, but, it's, I'm back. We're rolling, and
in a different way, in a better way.
A totally different way. Yeah. I never grew large again like I was before. When you have 9 employees, you're responsible for 9 people. I sacrificed everything to keep them employees running. That was retirement. That was everything to keep it all moving, thinking it's going to come back. It's not going to get this bad, and it just kept getting worse and worse. And so when I came back with just me and one other little employee, just a helper. And now my son's running it, and he's about ready to hire another helper because it's getting too big, and I just have to go help him when he makes me. Otherwise I'm at the center. So yeah, it's grown a lot, and now there's. And
I think we have a tendency, if you look back to 8 years ago, I think we have a tendency to look at what was happening then, and then we skip over to what's happening now. So I think what's important is to look at the little decisions that were made along the way.
Yeah.
In that period of time, I look at it now and I realize that I was slowly peeling away things that didn't serve me anymore.
That makes sense. But we didn't see it at the time.
Not at the time.
Yeah, no. I kept asking Spirit, I wasn't connected to Spirit then, but it was God, hey, God, what are you doing this to me for? What have I done to deserve this?
That place of blame.
I do everything for everybody. And poor. It took me a while to get over that. A couple years of that. And then realize, hey, just pick up your panties and get moving again. Put your big girl panties on and roll.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting because what I realized is that I was eliminating relationships. And not in a bad way. Some relationships just naturally moved on. But things happened, like I had my first soul retrieval, and we have a healing ritual in shamanism called a soul retrieval, where Wayne's had a couple of them, I've had a few, where traumatic events that have happened in your life, physical, emotional, and spiritual, there's part of your soul essence that disconnects, and you want to put it in psychological terms, it would be from going conscious to unconscious. So it's not really available to you. And in the soul retrieval, as a shamanic healer, I actually go on a journey. I look for that part of you that's willing to come back, bring it back, and integrate it with your soul. And amazing things happen. Courage happens. It comes back with a gift of some kind. And the first one that I had was in 2009, June of 2009, so a year and a half later.
Whoa.
I had my first soul retrieval, and I had just taken my first workshop probably a few months before that going, what is this thing called shamanism,
I'm still asking that question.
I know. I'm still trying to explain it to you, too. But anyway, I had done that, and I was looking at that, and what they had done is what it brought back was I wanted to feel the wonder of life again, and that's the part that they brought back, and I absolutely am in that now. But in order to do that, I ended up losing my house in 2011, giving it back to the bank. It was my decision. That's one of those courage decisions that went, I can't do this anymore. I got to give up, because I'll hang in there. You've seen me. I'll hang in there till the last straw when I should have given up long ago.
I agree.
And so gave it back to the bank, was going to live in a friend's house as house sitter for 2 months. It ended up being a year and a half. I had everything in storage. My dog died. I had to put my dog down.
There's a country song here.
No.
Quick, get me a guitar.
The boyfriend left and remarried, And what I see is, is that actually when this completion year started for me was last year. It started last year. It started when I decided to quit going solo, because I had gotten myself to a place where I wasn't going to do anything in combination with anybody else because it was just too messy. I just got into that. And when I made the decision not to do that, when I decided to land, it all started coming into place. So my year of completion actually, I think, started last July.
I think it kind of worked for both of us, because me taking on somebody with me and bringing into the center where, you have your opinions, I have mine. And
we argue.
We argued.
And we lived through it.
We don't argue so much anymore, but we argued back then over stupid things. But yeah, that was a good turning point for me, opening up the second center, closing the first one down to make room for the bigger one. That was huge. That was a huge jump, considering that you're talking about a guy who lost everything in 2008.
Yeah, because once I went through that, I went, well, this is clean and neat now. I don't want to junk this up again. I don't want to, it's just too messy.
We talked about that the other day about, I'm in the middle of a healing. I'm thinking, what would I do if I have to pack all this stuff away? And it's like, what are you thinking? Get out of there. I
said to you, if something happened to you, what am I going to do with all this stuff? You better start writing down notes so I know what I'm doing.
Just old form, old form coming back, and just patterns that we're so used to and so there to telling us what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it's not true.
So if any of you out there are feeling like the world's changing, it's because it is. It just is. It's time, and there's a lot of energetic support. And I'm not one who believes in outside is controlling what's happening on the inside. I believe in the inside. The outside's actually reflecting what's going on the inside.
Yeah.
So here we are in this energy of this new moon, which is the first part of the new moon cycle. And when everybody thinks, oh, it's the day of the full moon, it's not. It's when the new moon starts. It's building up. We're going to hit a full moon on the 22nd, which we'll have a full moon ceremony.
Right.
And it's going to be in Virgo, which my natal moon that I was born with is in Virgo. So is yours. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means yet. But it's a good time. The Virgo moon is a good time to change patterns. to literally change patterns. You're in the middle of doing that right now.
You know, Dr. Wayne Dyer said, he said, you know, when you lose your job, congratulations.
Yep.
Another one's coming.
That's right.
Change is happening. You're moving forward. Congratulations.
Yep.
Seems like a disaster. When I lost the business, seemed like nothing. Nothing. How do you lose that big and look what happened?
Yeah, I quit singing. I had 2 friends in the valley that I could call. Everybody else was outside of the valley because I've been running up and down the road for
Right.
12 years,
Yeah.
you know, and I'd gotten a divorce and the family had changed and everybody that I cared about deeply lived out of town. I just had 2 friends I was starting to know. They're still with me. They grew by about what? There's a whole bunch now.
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch
There's
now.
a bunch now. I feel like I got a new family here.
But you hear everybody tell you, don't worry, it's going to be okay. And you're like, how can you
How
say
can
that?
you say that?
And then, you know, 5, 6 years later, it turns around and starts beginning, okay.
Yeah.
And you learn to change.
And sometimes you have to look back to where you've been, where you've come from. That's what was stunning to me about the 8th. That's what was stunning when I looked back and I went, wow, I don't even think the same way anymore.
Yeah.
I had to spend 3 weeks in a nursing home because the insurance wouldn't pay for a rehab hospital.
Wow.
And I was the youngest kid on the block, and I remember moments I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to die here. You know, it was bad, and I didn't die. I'm here. You know, I'm working with people I enjoy, and this is cool, and I'm creating in a new way, and I had to go through all of that.
Can
to
you
get
say
to this
that
point.
again?
What? Which part?
I'm working with people I enjoy.
Okay. Ditto.
With
Yes.
that, we'll take a break.
We'll take a break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. You take it.
Hi, and welcome back to Soul Chat. Sorry, we're having our own conversations here. We've been talking about the year of the Chinese year of the monkey, the fire monkey, which happens to be my birth year. I was a fire monkey, so this
You're
year for
kind
me.
of a monkey, you know.
You know what? If you read what it says he's a trickster, he's a jokester. He's welcome to my world.
Yeah.
But it said some things that didn't make sense to me. But overall, it kind of hit me on home. So
Yeah.
it was interesting reading up on this today.
Well, I was going to save it for later, but I want to talk about it right now. The thing about this is that we started to talk about it. It's either going to, your year is either going to fall together because you've done all this work, or if you haven't done the work, it's going to shove it together real fast, and that does it by monkey business.
That creates a lot of chaos because
Creates
it's
a
trying
lot
to
of
all
chaos.
come together at one time, and you can't comprehend it. It's just it's out of your comfort zone.
I can see people saying, I thought this was supposed to be a good year, and this is happening, and that's happening, and this happening. But I think you have to keep your eye on, where is this going to lead me? What is going to come out of this? When I
Right.
was laying on the stretcher and they were taking me to the emergency room with that leg that was broken, I remembered thinking at the time, wonder what's going to come out of this.
Yeah. Where's it going to go from here?
Where's it going from here? What am I going to learn from this? When the world is falling apart, it's easy to see when God is there when everything is right. It's hard to see God there when everything is falling apart, but it's Spirit never stops working.
Never.
Never.
And as long as you realize that and you don't turn your back on them
Right.
and say, "Oh, you created this. This is your problem."
Yeah.
You're going to be okay.
I think
You'll be
so.
surprised what you come out the other side.
Yep. So just know that this is also a time of unexpected events, and try and ask. And I'm not saying I do it well. I have moments where I go, oh, good, I'm going to learn something from this crap, you know? I mean, I don't want to do that. I still don't know what has played out from having that minor accident that I had that you pointed out.
Oh yeah, you're a mirror bender.
My mirror bender. Yeah, broke my mirror. This guy hit and run and broke my mirror and drove off and cost me $1,000. And I still haven't quite figured out what that's all about. But what I do know after doing this work, it's going to show up
Yeah.
someplace down the road. I'm going to go, oh, that's what that was all about.
Right.
I don't know what
Right.
it, you know. And that's what you got to do.
Doesn't make sense. This neck ache
Yeah.
I have right now doesn't make sense, but there's a neck ache there, and it'll work itself out.
Well, and you're complaining now because you've got some stuff like that happening, but you know what's led to that. I mean,
Yep.
you're detoxing and
Yep.
letting go of stuff.
Playing with the
and-
diabetes, trying to get the numbers down, and see what happens. I kind of got a warning. You either take care of it or
It's gonna
figure it
be a
out.
big problem, yeah.
Figure it out.
So one of the things in figuring it out is self-sabotage.
No.
Yeah.
I know nothing about that.
Yeah. No.
Actually, I think I created the word.
Did you?
Yeah, words.
You could have picked a better word. That's a French word. I think.
Oui, oui. No, I have to go to the bathroom is what I'm saying.
No. Is one of the ways when you're in the middle of chaos is maybe you can't see it at the time, but after you get on the other side side of it, is to look and see, how do I keep myself from moving forward? Because that's what self-sabotage is all about. And I used to have, I wrote a few things down there. He's gonna not be happy about that one right there. But one of the ways is we can get lost in our own stories about things, about why things happen, or we can get hooked on a story that we keep telling ourselves over and over again, especially if we're in a victim mode.
Oh,
That'll
yeah.
keep us from moving forward.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to move forward when you feel like a victim. It's almost impossible. And that's that thing of, we were talking about the power of words. If you're coming from fear, or are you coming from love? If you're coming as a victim, you're not coming from love. It's
Right.
hard. And I'm not saying there aren't victims, because there are. Things happen that aren't right.
You got me speechless again, because there's not much I can say about that. You're so right.
It's oh, can I hear that? Oh,
Nope.
never mind. Okay,
Nope.
I'll say I enjoy working with somebody, and you can say I was right. Okay. It's interesting because the stories can become so real, and if you think about it, the stories that we pack, that we have for years and years and years and years, are they really alive anymore? I mean, I could tell you a story about things that happened between my ex-husband and I, and he's passed on.
But we create our endings.
We do.
We do. We create them in our mind. I mean, I thought that was the end of my world.
Yeah.
We create it in our mind. I didn't. What am I worth doing? What am I doing?
I
The
lost
only thing I have to do is I'm an Aries, and I just keep plugging. I go right back working. You know, I went from the desk and running everything to back on a route and delivering.
My son tells a story about, he taught college for a while, and he talks about how he had a guy that came in, and he was on a scholarship from the UN, and he came into his class, and he was talking to this guy, and he'd have people come in that would whine about, I couldn't get my work done because the dog ate it, or, you know, the stories that whatever kids come up with, or you know, my phone didn't work, or I'm so tired and I can't get up in the morning. Well, this guy came in, and he kept plugging along, and he had the best attitude, and finally one day my son asked him, where are you from? You know, what's going on here? He had been raised in Chad. He had lost his whole family, and you would have never known it. He watched his brothers get murdered. He watched his parents die. He was raised in the refugee camps in Chad, and he got a scholarship from the UN. He was in the United States, happy as a clam. And he let that story go. He didn't let that story run his life. I remember years where I let a story, my first marriage, I let that story run my life for about 6 or 7 years. I was a victim. And I had a good reason to be a victim. But at some point I looked at it and I realized I didn't want to live that way anymore.
Right.
And the only way to do it is to step out of that story.
Walk away.
It's not that it didn't happen. It did. It's not that it shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened. But it did. So you take from it what you can learn. And it probably took me 7 or 8 years of counseling, a nervous breakdown, to understand my own worth. And it started there. So I could be grateful for that experience for that reason.
Wow.
But boy, it took a long time. You know, and grief is another one. Grief is one of those things, has its own menu. It doesn't, you can't say, oh, it's a year gone by, you should feel better now. It doesn't work like that.
Right. No. Grief is the worst.
Right. Should people pass on? Not when we want them to, but it's part of life. It's
Yeah,
part
we
of the
don't
life
want
cycle.
them to.
Yeah.
Luckily for us, we know where they go, and you know, and how it
Well,
works.
we think we know where we go.
Well, yeah, we assume.
We'll compare notes when we get there, right?
Yeah.
But it's what I want people to understand is the stories are the stories, and I'm a great storyteller. It's one of the things shamanic healers are known to do is we teach through storytelling, and sometimes you tell the story long enough until you get sick of it yourself, and then you want to move on,
Right.
or you can look at the story that you're telling and say, what am I telling this for again?
And what am I doing? I'm on a little wheel going around.
Or that hamster in a wheel.
Something's wrong. I'm got to move forward.
Yeah, that's one of the ways to self-sabotage. And there's the old thing of procrastination. I don't know anything about that, do you?
Well, I'm the leader on that one also.
I'm looking at the stacks that are building up on the dining room table again, you know, because I'm just running in, dropping stuff, and I'm running out.
I looked at my office this morning. I'm
You just had
running
that cleaned.
Sort of. Clean means it's stacked better.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a bill that I've been putting off for no good reason. I don't know why. I'm looking at that, and I realized when I was driving here today, I'm going, I got a pain in my gut. I got to get that thing paid or it's going to be a problem. And there's no good reason. So what was I doing that for? Prove to myself that I'm not worth it? Am I
Yeah.
back on that wheel again? You know? So procrastination is an interesting one. And at the same time, I always look at things like it's a mixed bag. There's something that's coming from. Maybe it's not time. Maybe procrastination is creating that time until it's the right time for something to
Who
happen.
knows?
Yeah, I don't know. But the other one is the rules.
What?
Yeah, the rules.
I'm the king of rules.
You are the king of rules.
They're all self rules. They're all my rules. I mean, for me, but I'm the king of rules. Things just have to go a certain way. I have to see things move in a certain direction.
And I've seen it. I've pointed out to you, I'm not sure that rule's working for you anymore. And I've seen you actually pull out a sledgehammer and go, damn it, yes it is. It's working, it's working, it's working.
I'll force it into that
I'll
little
force
peg.
it back into
Put
that thing
round
again.
peg in that square hole of it.
So I noticed when we were on last week, I talked about 3 rules, and I don't think I said them. And my 3 rules are, this is what I've come down to. Not that I didn't have a bunch. Oh boy, I had a bunch.
Oh boy.
But my 3 rules are, first, do no harm. And that means not just to anybody else, but to myself either.
That's a good one.
That's the first one. The second one is it's the one they use on Star Trek. I can't remember what they call it. The one where you don't mess with somebody else's evolution. I can't remember what they call it. They have a name for it. Prime Directive. That's it. The Prime Directive. Don't mess with anybody else's evolution unless they ask.
Okay, that's a tough one. That was a real tough one when I met you to get used to.
Really?
Yeah, I'm used to just going in and doing. Walk up and do. Hey, let me open your chakra. And now it's everything's permission. Everything.
Yep. And the last one is what they tell you. Do everything they tell you on the airline. Know where the exits are. Let the gas mask drop, and you put yours on first before you put it on your child or whoever you care about.
That is probably the number one rule that I go by.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody.
Yeah.
So
those I pretty much try, and I probably have some others floating around, but those are the hard ones that I hold on to. Probably one that I had that took me a long time to dismantle is I had a rule that everybody else had to be happy before I could. Had to take care of my kids, had to make sure the husband was happy, had to make sure my parents were happy.
I never made the husband happy, but
Did you?
Nah, everything else I had.
But that took me a while to let go of that one. And I think the hardest one, and I came under fire for it. I had some people in the family that weren't real happy about it. But when I moved to Vegas because I knew if I stayed where I wasn't going to move forward. And I had to move forward. So my mother was going through cancer treatment at the time. So I moved from a place. I lived next door to her. I'd lived there almost 40 years.
Wow.
So that was a push. That was a real push to get out of there. But I knew I was going down if I didn't get out. I knew I wasn't going to. But I did it. That doesn't mean I ran away. I moved to a place where I could get there in 2 hours if I had to on an airplane.
Right.
Which I did.
Sure.
But it didn't matter. The logic doesn't matter. Those rules get so ingrained and they have roots to them that when we go to pull them out, it's hell.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yep. Mine's always take care of the family first. That's always been mine. Now it's take care of the center first, take care of the people first. Now it's switching.
It should be switching
Today was
too.
an example of it because normally I if I have a backache or this neck that's locked up a little bit, I just go with it and let it work itself out. But I called the chiropractor and said I'll be in tomorrow morning.
Ooh, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I'm going in first thing in the morning and get it done. Everything else can wait.
I'm impressed.
I know. Things are changing.
Wow. I may enjoy working with you even more.
Nah. Don't get crazy yet.
But the thing to look at the rules is it's one thing to say, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. But you got to pull the roots out. You got to figure out where that belief came from.
Yep.
Mine came from, I'm going to take that one and follow it back. Mine went clear back to when I was about 7, where I figured out I would get attention from my mom if I fixed things for her.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I translated that to love. If I'd get her approval, or if I did something and she'd be happy about it, or if I could do things so she wouldn't cry, because she was a nervous wreck. If I could keep her from crying, and then it was, okay, so she loves me if she doesn't cry. I mean, it's funny what we put in place when we're kids.
It's funny you talk about that. When I was 17, my parents were divorcing for the second time.
Oh, that's
And
right.
I went out and bought a Volkswagen van with a little pop-up top for camping, because as kids, camping was what we did. I thought if I went and bought this van, I could keep their marriage together. I was the fixer. I was going to go fix that for them.
Now that you bring that up, I figured this out, but I had forgotten it. The house that went back to the bank, it was huge. It was a 4,000 square foot house. This is the house I always wanted to raise my kids in, right? I didn't realize it until probably after it had gone back and I went through foreclosure and all of that what I had done is I had created a space because my dream was to have all 3 kids under the same roof and finally have a family Christmas. It didn't happen because all 3 kids don't necessarily talk to each other. But my dream was to do that.
Right.
You know, and so when it went back to the bank, I didn't realize it was harder on me than I thought. And I'd always paid all my bills. I didn't know why it was hitting me so hard. I had to let the dream go.
There you go.
Yeah, it was tough. So we're going to take one more break, and we'll be back. And we'll see you then. Hi, this is Lainey Risto, and you're back with me and my...
I was going to open up this time.
Okay, I'll erase all of that.
Hi, this is Wayne Hiltbrand. Welcome back to Soul Chat. Want to mention our sponsor again real quick, Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith.
You might want to go into, because I don't remember the full details on him. I know he's a good-looking guy, and he was better on the show than me last week. And yeah, had a nice radio voice, and kept me laughing most of the weekend.
He's going to hear this and
really?
Go, oh, he's going to blush when he hears that. But it's Mr. Smith. One of our sponsors is Mr. Smith, and it's called Ultimate Possibilities, and they are a video advertising kind of a promotion.
Make us look good.
They make us look real good.
Stuff that's behind us when the video comes out makes us look really good.
Yep. And you can go see what they do at IamMrSmith.com. Just the way it sounds. IamMrSmith.com.
You know, real quick, you know that I am? You know, that's Wayne Dyer's thing is like, you know, I am. I'm thinking I am Spiritus Reiki Center.
There you go.
And then on the windows would be I am Lainey Risto, you know, shamanic practitioner, and then I am Wayne Hildebrand, Holy Fire Reiki Master.
That's kind of cool.
I like it.
I guess it's going to happen. I don't have a vote. Yeah, and our other sponsor is Spiritus Reiki Center.
Yes, they are. 4170 South Decatur Road. Come on down and visit it. Oh, no, Boulevard. Sorry, I keep saying road.
Yeah, Suite D9.
I don't know why I do that for.
Or D11. If you're coming to an event, a big event, it's probably in D11. Yeah, it's all there.
D9 if you're coming for an office visit with one of us.
Yep. If you want a tour or if you want to talk about the details, you can call Wayne at
702 get your pencils, 810-3354. 702-810-3354.
Yeah, and I'm Lainey Risto, and you can reach me at 702-308-8464 if you would like to come to a healing circle or find out what shamanism is, or if you'd like a private healing session.
And if you want to just call on the show today, it's 702-483-4444.
Yep, that's it. So we've been talking about the new moon and the Chinese New Year and how this is a time. This year is a year of completion and great things are going to happen. It may not seem like it at times because in order for great things to happen, some other things sometimes have to unravel.
Right.
And the monkey's about monkey business and unraveling things when you least suspect it. So if you have something that happens and you go, what the heck is that for? Why is this going to happen? It's like a mirror on the car. It's the monkey. It's the monkey year that's happening. And it's going to lead to something. Just hold on to it and be willing to look at it later. One of the things we talked in the last part of the show, we talked about self-sabotage and rules and how you get those to really go away is you got to find out how you created them. You have to pull the roots out and pull the beliefs out that are underneath them because there's a belief under there of some kind.
Exactly.
Yeah. But the other thing is really important is once you do that, what the heck do you do? Because I would have people say to me, well, what is your next step? And, oh yeah, which April? Oh, okay. No.
No, it's okay.
It's okay.
We know who it is.
Yeah. No, I lost my train of thought. That was a quick train, too. It went like a freight train. Oh, one of the things is once you pull those beliefs out, you have to have something to step into. You have to. So what does it need? Maybe you're not going there. Maybe you can't picture yourself. Now, we had a client who's an extreme case, who's paraplegic, right?
Right.
And the big thing is to get him to see himself maybe not walking in the way he did before.
Right.
But
he saw himself up working on the truck, climbing in and out of the car, and we got him just to see himself with a walker and doing his dishes and cooking dinner. And for him, that was huge.
It was huge, yeah.
Yeah, once he realized that, and now he's getting feeling. He's starting to have feeling.
So that's an extreme case. But what if I want to? What if I want to sing again? What does that sound like? What do I need? And what do I need to do? Sometimes people don't do it because it's the unknown, and so they don't know how they're going to be safe. So think about what do you want to do and what do you need to do to feel safe to do it.
Well, this is part of me stepping into the teaching role.
Right.
Teaching Reiki is easy for me because I love it. But teaching other aspects of it and teaching other classes is a little scary for me because I didn't have the self-confidence. I do now. I realize now that I can teach.
So what was the thing that supported you in feeling that way?
People's comments about different things that I do around the center,
So
and
you
when
listened.
they come up and they say you're amazing, thank you for what you do, or Wayne, I wouldn't know what to do if you hadn't done this. Those are amazing things.
And you're very visual. So my bet is you heard that and you finally started seeing yourself.
I
that
can
way.
see myself teaching with
Right.
not even a problem.
Yeah.
I'm good in front of a crowd. God gave me this talent and this this personality for a reason.
So one of the things, real quickly, that I want people to understand is if there's something that you want to do, if you're visual, try seeing yourself doing that. Seeing yourself
Right.
actually doing the
Absolutely.
action. Or if you're you sense or you feel it, imagine yourself actually doing it.
I actually had a friend today that said she wants to put these French doors in her living room. And I said, walk over to that window and open those French doors.
Yep.
Walk out, see yourself walking out in that backyard. See the kids go out there.
Right.
Look.
And it's the little things that will get you there. I'm a
Yep,
big believer
absolutely.
in that. So let's have April show up on. I think I know which April this is. We have 2
Oh,
minutes.
April.
Hey,
Welcome.
guys, your show is so awesome.
We know.
It is so awesome. But I have to say, I was thinking of the fire monkey because it reminded me of Wayne because the descriptions that I read online were ambitious, adventurous, and irritable.
Oh, yeah. I got all of them.
Yeah, he's got them all. You can sometimes get them all in the same hour if you're lucky.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, they come out. Sometimes you just get the irritability for a while.
I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking.
You
God,
know.
you guys sound amazing. I
Thank
just got
you.
in, and I just had to call because I wanted to tune in ASAP. You guys you're rocking my house here.
Oh, very cool.
Well, next time, leave your office door open so she can get her rocks and stuff on the front here because they're locked in your office.
Well, everybody has the key.
Okay.
Oh,
well, we
well,
know
all right.
next time.
Everybody has the key.
All
Thanks.
right.
We got 2
Thanks.
minutes left. April, thank you so much for calling, and I need to talk to you.
You bet. I'm home.
Okay, I'll
I
call
love
you.
you guys. I'm
I'll call
sending
you.
you lots of love.
Love you
Love
too.
you too. Bye.
Mom
Now-
will top on your great show.
The reason that we said April next week coming on is April Azzolino.
Yes.
She is going to come on and she's going to be teaching a class. She teaches classes every Friday night.
Yep, every Friday night. They're closed class right now,
It's a
and she'll
closed
start
class.
a new session.
But she's going to come on and we're going to talk about building a spiritual toolbox.
Yeah,
What
we're pretty
tools,
excited. In March, she's coming to be at Spirit is with us
Right.
as a practitioner there. So she'll have her own key and come in and out and have her office space. And,
Yep.
so we're pretty excited about that too.
Yeah. So thank you so much for listening today. This week, look at that. Look out there and see what's happening around you, good or bad, and try and look at it and say, wonder what this is going to lead to. There's something good that's coming
Right.
out of
Don't
this.
always take the negative in it.
That's right.
Look at the positive of it. I told my daughter, if this job doesn't work out and you went for another, just enjoy it.
Right.
It's okay. It all works out. You get more time with your kids or whatever it is.
Right.
Look at the positive in it because it's all positive.
And we'll be back next week. More conversations that feed your soul. And with that, we're just going to say goodbye because my voice is shot.
Yeah, we're about done.
We're about done.
Bye, y'all.
See ya.
See you next week.
Bye.
God bless.